Welcome back to the Kudlow Report. I'm Larry Kudlow. As Congress debates two dueling debt plans, President Obama and House Speaker John Boehner are preparing to make primetime statements tonight at 9 p.m. CNBC will carry it live. Now, are we finally nearing a deal? Here now we have House members Brad Sherman, Democrat from California, and New York Republican Nan Hayworth. Welcome to both of you. Ms. Hayworth, Eric Cantor does not agree, and we had added a little bit earlier in the program, with the greatest respect. But I think that the Reid plan is essentially a Republican plan. Spending cuts, a debt increase, no tax increases, and a congressional entitlement commission. Why is that wrong?
Larry, the numbers are illusory, and that's the problem. They are counting as savings items that are already planned on, anticipated to decrease in the budget. That's part of it, particularly the wind downs in Iraq and Afghanistan. Those really can't be counted legitimately as savings. So that's part of it. It's analogous to what George Will said. It's like proposing that the moon be covered for $5 trillion, covered in yogurt, and then we eliminate the budget items. So that's one of the primary issues with that plan, whereas our plan has real budget cuts that actually, spending cuts that actually exceed the amount of the borrowing authority increase.
All right. Well, in my note today, I can see that your plan would cut deeper, certainly in the domestic budget. But Brad Sherman, welcome back. I just want to ask you, can you live with a deal that doesn't have a revenue increase component in it?
Well, we need revenue increases to deal with the big problem, but I would be willing to go along with an increase in the debt limit that did not solve the big problem. We're down to the last couple of weeks here. We're about to throw away one of the major assets of this country, our unblemished credit rating, and I'd go along with the original McConnell proposal, which is to increase the debt limit in return for Democrats embarrassing ourselves 3 different times. I think that's fair. It's something I'm willing to do.
What do you mean? I mean, the Reid plan is a lot like Senator McConnell's plan. What do you mean Democrats embarrassing ourselves 3 times?
The original plan was a clean increase in the debt limit, which could be accomplished by the president, subject to votes in the House and the Senate to stop that increase, which presumably would then be vetoed and then come back to the House and Senate, where Democrats could vote to uphold the veto. So it was designed in an election year for Democrats to be voting on many different occasions for an increase in the debt limit. And that was the kind of political pound of flesh that McConnell wanted. It's what I'm willing to give him in order to get the country out of it's still less than a 50-50 chance, but out of a circumstance where we have to think seriously, are we going to destroy this country's credit limit, this country's credit rating?
Let's go to the ratings issue, Nan. A lot of people on Wall Street are saying that 2 debt ceiling hikes, one now and one next year, is a surefire way to get an S&P Moody's downgrade. You worried about that?
I certainly
Larry,
am.
what the ratings agencies and what the markets want to see is that we are tackling seriously the issue of our long-term debt. And in our plan, in the House Republican plan, we appoint a committee, and in fact it has members of both parties and from Senate and House, who will determine definitively a plan to go forward with substantial reforms in mandatory spending, including the Affordable Care Act, including federal pensions.
But the issue is the short and long-term debt ceiling increase. You get the short term, but we have to go through the same rigmarole next year. That's worrying a lot of people, Nan.
Well, that would be a feature of the so-called McConnell plan as well, obviously, as Brad just mentioned. But the Reid plan, again, I would view, if I were a market observer, I would view it as, again, having illusory, in fact, fuzzy, funny numbers, and not having nearly as definitive as an approach as the House Republican plan does, which also includes caps with sequestration, which also includes a vote on a balanced budget amendment. It is a far more substantive plan, and the markets will view it more favorably, I would predict.
All right, I'm going to have to leave it there. House members Brad Sherman and Nan Hayworth, thank you very much. We continue our coverage of dueling debt.